Now, I want to invite you, okay, to start however you want to do this, but I want you to start working on this now. I want you to learn this process and develop these skills now. Waiting to develop these skills really means continuing to wait for commitment, continuing to wait to be more confident, continuing to wait to have more time that day when you're going to have more time. Okay. Waiting to find those opportunities that you know are out there. It also means waiting to have like that rest and relaxation, waiting to get out of that hustle mode, right? You will stay in pain, so to speak, okay, longer if you don't start doing the work of commitment now. So do you want the pain and no result, or do you want the pain and the result? All right, so ultimately, you're waiting to move forward with kind of that next version of yourself. I like to call it like, you know, these iPhones, I think we're up to 11, maybe 12. You know, I'm on Andrea 4.0 plus because I'm almost 50. Okay, so it's like, what's your version? What are you on version 4.0, 5.0? Where are you? Okay, so ultimately, you're just waiting to move forward with that next version of you, your career, your business, really ultimately your life. And so you are waiting also to help more people, because no matter what you do, anyone on this call, no matter what you're doing, you're helping someone. You are. I don't care what it is, right? So you're waiting to help more people. And the world really needs you more than ever. Okay, because we all really, I mean, that whole takes a village, it takes a village. So, you know, I work with people that are real estate agents, that are attorneys, that are creatives, that are coaches, that are in MLMs, that are CPAs, they're in HR, some of them are teachers. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, we all need to do this work. It's the same kind of work. All right, so with this in mind, like this is my thinking, with this in mind, I created a coaching program called Committed to Growth. It's a group coaching program. The next round starts on March 18th. Okay. And this is designed to help you develop these skills, and only these skills, because really they're the only skills you need. Okay. You just have to develop these 6 skills to get you from exactly where you are now. So that could be like day 1 or day 10,000 to where you want to be. You don't have to be any further along. That's another famous thing. Well, once I start to blah, 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 then I'll work on this. No, you can start to work on this now. Okay. And I help you develop the 6 skills that you need to create your commitment to ongoing growth. Okay. So we acquire 6 distinct skills. Hold on, what was on this slide? Okay, this is the process, sorry, that we've just discussed, right? So we go through this process within Committed to Growth. We learn how to create things. We learn how to get acclimated with the new person that we are and make this whole thing doable. And we learn to accelerate and have fun. So the program is broken down into these 3 simple steps: creating, acclimating, and accelerating. And that encompass all 6 skills. So we develop this working skill set. Okay. Getting clear. No more, I'm not sure what that looks like. Okay. If I ask people for numbers, no one wants to give me any numbers. What would success look like for you? What would the revenue look like? How many transactions would you do? How many clients would you have? Everybody doesn't, no one wants to give me numbers. They're just like more. Okay, so we get really clear on what you want. Imagine that. Okay, we also get control of your time and your boundaries. Okay, working on getting confident, making decisions, doing the hard things. No more decision drama or analysis paralysis. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, analysis paralysis. All right, then the next thing, getting the clients, getting the business. following through, right? Getting creative on your thinking, tweaking and honing things versus throwing them out the window. You've already started something. Let's just make it better. Get creative. And then we get cracking. Okay. So you get to learn this process with direct support from me as your coach for 6 months, along with the community of people you're with and the coursework that you can access at any time. Okay. And so coaching and community and content to give you systems, support, and strategy. That's what I like to say. And this 6-month coaching program is $5K. So if you go to your inbox right now, you probably have an email in there, okay, that has all the information. It has a link to the website, and you can start today. So I want you to go in there and pull up this email or go to the website, and you really can get started today, because once you enroll, you will get an email with a link to immediately to the Overcoming Overwhelm Masterclass series, which is 4 parts, and you can start learning that today. Okay, so I want to give a little shout out. If you're on the webinar and you're already in Committed to Growth, let me know. Okay, give a little shout out to those people. Or if you go and enroll today, I want to give a shout out, because guess what? They're the innovators. Okay, here's what an innovator means. An innovator, they're the ones that make the most progress in finding the success they want. Because an innovator means that it's someone that doesn't wait around, who is not going to think about things for days or weeks or months. They're not going to get stuck in analysis paralysis. They're not in decision drama, right? So if you're an innovator, here's a shout out to the woman who decides and does, who makes the decisions and follows through. Because the longer you wait on things, no matter what the decision is, whether it's even like to eat the chocolate cake, to buy the car, to enroll in coaching, whatever it is, the longer you wait, your brain is just trying to find reasons to support whatever decision you feel more comfortable in. Okay, so it's finding reasons to eat the cupcake because that's more comfortable. Okay, it's finding reasons to not buy the expensive car because that's more comfortable. So it's finding reasons. Okay, so go check it out. Now, there are a few more things inside Committed to Growth. All right, I listen to all of you. Okay, and I want to tell you that a lot of my clients are new to coaching. So what we do, okay, is we spend time getting to be a master at some of the basic tools, one of which is the model. So as part of Committed to Growth, okay, which we meet weekly, it's a weekly coaching program. We're starting on March 18th. We're doing that. It's weekly coaching, but there also is built in a half-day kind of kickoff boot camp where you are going to become a master at some of the basic tools. All right, so everybody is starting out already knowing some of the tools. It's a half day, it's 3 hours. All right, I also know from my experience that everybody likes to have a game plan. I mean, do you think Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl without a game plan? No. Okay, he did not go without a game plan. And he thought about it before the game started. So we all like to have game plans. And you almost sometimes don't even know where to start, right? So that is why I have added in to Committed to Growth. All inside there is a private one-on-one strategy session with me where we can figure out the game plan. And you can schedule that at any time. If you enrolled today, we can do it tomorrow. Okay, so there's no waiting on that. And that's all included. So we've got weekly coaching, kickoff boot camp, private coaching. That's all in there. Okay. The other thing that I've realized is, remember I talked about there's going to be this greater impact. It's priceless. Okay. So as you learn this work, it infiltrates into other areas of your life. And you start to get curious about how you can use these tools in your relationships, in parenting, with money. Okay. So I added in 6 monthly guest coaching sessions, and they coach on things like relationships and parenting and pets and weight and health and wellness. And there's even a sex coach. I have not brought her on yet, but I could. Okay. So that is how, this is added on, because I realize that we're adding these things and we're using these tools in other areas of our life. So these are experts in their fields in coaching. Okay. So we've got weekly coaching, half-day boot camp, private session, guest coaches. Okay. Now you may have been involved in courses or coaching in the past where you're learning a lot, but you can't really check your work. You don't have the support you need, and to let you know if you're on track, if you're making progress. You want to ask questions, but there's no one to ask. Many of my clients came to me feeling afraid they were going to slip through the cracks, or they weren't going to make use of all the tools. Like they wanted to get their money's worth. Okay. So guess what? You can get your money's worth because you can get coaching daily. Okay. You can get as much coaching as you want. You can go inside our private channel, which is not a Facebook group, every day, every hour, and submit questions that you have about the process. You can ask for coaching on anything, on selling, on mindset, on tactics. You can get help with how to meet people, making offers, confidence, how to deal with your kids. You can ask anything. Anything is fair game. And you can also search through, like using the search tool, you can search through all the other questions that have been asked, and you can learn from other people who have already asked the same thing. Okay, so that is why I have added in what I like to call kind of 24/7 coaching through this private online channel. Okay, so you can get all the coaching you want, right? There's ways in there you can ask me, you can ask the group, you can celebrate your epic wins and losses, it's all in there. Okay, and that's inside Committed to Growth. So when you're at work, when you're at play, when something goes up, you can go in there and ask for coaching as many times as you need, as often as you like, and you will get a notification when your question has been answered or coaching has been given. Really, anyone in there, you can get a notification when anyone's been coached if you want to. So you'll never get stuck. So that's all in there too. So weekly sessions, boot camp, private one-on-one, weekly or monthly guest coaching sessions, and then this private channel. Okay. Now, I also know we're women, right? We like to support each other. We like to be something bigger than ourselves. We like to learn from each other. We like to be part of a community. So that's why there's a dedicated space inside the private channel to communicate with each other. And also we do that on our weekly calls, right? So this is where I find people have the biggest breakthroughs. So put stars like in your brain around this. When you are learning from someone else, okay, you don't even know that you have what I like to call limiting beliefs, or you don't even know some of the things that are holding you back until you see it in someone else. And these are when the aha moments occur. And when, like, OMG, I thought I was the only one that had this. It totally normalizes the whole thing. It's amazing. Okay. So it's not just me, it's the entire group that is supporting you. And it's not coffee chat. Okay. It's not like a coffee club. Okay. These are women where you can talk about things like money. You can talk about your crazy kids. You can talk about the client that pissed you off. Okay. The person that didn't follow through and give you what you agreed to in the contract. Okay. You can talk about all of this, the hard stuff, not just the fluffy stuff. And that's hard to find these days, I think. Okay. So that's why we have this sort of 24/7 community of, I like to say, like-minded women. So there's the coaching piece, then there's the community piece of all of this. All right. Which is just as important. Okay, now some of you might say to me, yeah, but I'm a slow learner. Like, I'm not going to catch on to that stuff in that boot camp on day one. I mean, you're crazy, Andrea, if you think that. Other people say, I do my best learning at midnight. Some people say, I do my best learning at 5 a.m. Okay, so we've covered that issue as well, because I put new content and coursework inside the private channel library every week. So you always have something to work on if you want to. if you want to access it. All right. And one of the best resources in there, I think, is kind of the guided strategy and goal setting materials, okay, that are part of the course library. And the other piece that's amazing is the fact that we all like to be held accountable, right? And holding ourselves accountable, like that's the other famous answer. Who's going to hold you accountable for this? Well, I guess myself. Okay, that doesn't work sometimes. So there are accountability tools in there. Okay, so the goal of coaching is that the goal of this is not that you're getting coached 100 years from now. The goal of this is that you can coach yourself in the future. All right, so there are accountability tools in there. There's guided strategy. There's a library of resources that you can access at any time. Okay, so to recap, to recap, I mean, these are all the things that are in there: weekly coaching, boot camp, private one-on-one session, guest coaching sessions, 24/7 access for coaching through this channel, the community, networking, content library. You never will feel alone. Never feel alone. Okay, all in there. Okay, so who is this for? If you are looking for more of any one of these boxes, this is for you. More money, more time, more opportunities, more rest, more joy. Okay, all for you. That's what this is who this is for. And it does not matter what industry you're in. I've said that like 50 times, and it's totally true. Totally true. I think people can attest to that. Okay. Okay. Now, the last piece here is, because you guys took the time to be on this call, okay, I'm offering kind of what I call a fast action bonus. Okay. This is kind of extra special because I know you're feeling it, and sometimes you want to start like right now. Okay. So if you're feeling anxious or stressed, but also excited and motivated, I'm on to you. Okay, so if you enroll by Monday, you get an additional private one-on-one strategy session. And you also get that immediate access to the Overcoming Overwhelm Masterclass. So you can start in right away. And when we have our kickoff call on the 18th, you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to meet on the 18th, but we're also then going to continue to meet on Thursdays at noon moving forward. All right, so if you want to get started at midnight, you can get started at midnight because you're going to have this stuff available to you. Okay, whew, that was a lot. Okay, the real number one reason to do anything like this or to make this investment is because you're investing in support to make your version of success happen, and stop going it alone. Stop shoulding. Stop wishing and waiting and wanting, right? You're better than that. You're smarter than that. You can do this with having, I like to picture like a little baby bird, okay? It's like you're the little baby bird. You can have someone holding you up while you work through this. And then remember, you're working on tools that you have for a lifetime. This is not just for today. I mean, a couple people are on here that are already in my class this time, right? These tools, like lifetime tools. All right, so those are the details right here on this page. I know people have questions. Who has some questions? Let me know. Who has questions? Polly, questions. Lisa, questions. Sue, questions. Kate, questions. Lisa, 2 Lisas. Thoughts, comments? Ask away.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. Tell me more. No questions? Nothing? All very clear? It's all very clear.
It actually is pretty clear. I mean,
okay.
You laid it out really well.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I know that sometimes people say, like, what does it really look like when you're in it? Okay. I don't know if that's something that you're thinking about, but what does it really look like? I mean, we do meet virtually because we've got people all over the US. Okay. And it looks like a Zoom call, just like this. But what happens is that we share in there if you want to. This is the other thing. Like, you could be on a call and not say one word the whole time, which is totally fine. You can share your wins and your fails. Okay. And you also can get coaching in there on anything that has come up. Okay. So that's one thing. All right. Lisa put a question in there. Okay. Is there a step? Okay. So I'm going to ask you. All right. The price point is hard. You said the price point is hard if you're starting out. All right. But guess what? Guess what? The goal of this program is to get you to a point where you're not a starter anymore. Okay. That you are not a beginner. Right. And I will, like, people say, what can you guarantee? Okay. I will guarantee that your brain will be in a different place by the end of this so that 5K will not seem like anything. Like, you will be well beyond that. All right. And also, what's the difference? Like, do you want to stay in this pain point of starting out? Do you want to stay there? Or do you want to get to a place where you're beyond the starting out? How long do you want to be in that starting out place? This is the perfect thing when you're starting out. I think some people can attest to that on this call, right? So it's the perfect place to be there because you have all of the resources you need. Going it alone right now when you're starting out is not fun. Okay. Simple, doable, and fun. It's not fun. I've been there. Okay. I've been like a starter outer. All right. And I think one of the smartest things I did was to get a coach for the coach. Okay. Because I didn't stay in that starter outer place very long. At least I didn't feel that way in my brain. Okay. So also the other thing I would like throw out there is there was a piece in there that said, get creative. Okay. That's one of our skills. How can you get creative so that 5K seems like a drop in the bucket compared to what you're going to make? How can you create 5K? People get creative. I've had people take out loans. I've had people borrow from whatever, wherever. In the end, they thank me for doing it because it's pushed them along so much further. Lisa, what other questions do you have? Or does that help? Or what's still going through your brain? Because guess what? This is a thought error. This is what I call a thought error. Okay. So your thought error is, I'm just starting out. I'm not sure I'm up to this yet, or I'm not sure I can make this investment. That's just a story you're telling yourself. It's a story, right? And we can write our own story. We can write our own story. Yeah. Any other questions? The other thing is, this is like a think tank. This is like a think tank. Okay, Brenda, she's in it right now. It's definitely been worth it. Okay. This is a think tank. So if you are starting out in a business, you have the brains of all the people inside this program to help you. And I think that the people that are on here that are in it can attest that it truly is a think tank. Like, the ideas they are getting from each other are worth 5K in and of itself. Cindy's shaking her head. Yes. Yeah. So those ideas in and of themselves are valuable. What else, Polly? What else is going through your brain?
Nothing right now. I mean,
nothing. Lisa Hudson, anything going through your brain?
Well, no, I'm at a point where I'm potentially thinking about winding down one business, but I have a partner, so I've got to get that person on board, and just trying to figure out what the next step is and where that needs to go, and not maybe being satisfied with where I'm at. So
okay, so you sound exactly like my client Sarah. Exactly. Okay. So she was in a business that she, like, within the first few weeks, we figured out her exit plan. Okay. So she created an exit plan. And now I don't know if I mentioned that someone had like a 14-week plan earlier in the call. She's created she's brainstormed, thought about it, wrapped her head around what's next. Okay. And now she's created this plan and we're going to execute on it. But it took her like a while. It wasn't like she snapped her fingers and she knew what was next.
right.
Right. So a lot of the questioning and work we do is to help you kind of not think small, to think big. Right. Because you've been in this sort of lane for a while. You've been in your lane for a long time. Right. And what is next? So we've got to kind of expand the thinking in order to figure that out. Okay. And it's hard to do that, especially like you're stuck in the peanut butter jar right now. Like you're with the creamy Jiffy peanut butter. Okay. So you can't even read the label. Like you don't even know what's on the outside world. You can't even see through the glass jar because the peanut butter stuck to the sides. Right. So having a community of women, having a coach, it helps you, first of all, just read the label, but it helps you get out of the peanut butter jar too. So you don't have to have already kind of crossed over the rainbow and be into the next thing. You can be in process. And that's exactly when she came in, that was exactly where she was.
Okay, that helps. Thanks.
Yeah. Sue, any questions?
I'm just comparing it to the type of accountability programs I've already been through with the Feeney type approach.
Yep, I know all about that.
And some that were run very much in-house and very successfully by
I know all about that too.
managers I had.
Yeah.
So just trying to compare it to the two. And
okay. So the Buffini, I'll speak to that. Can I speak to it?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. So were you say because you finished your sentence?
A lot of those, I took little pieces from all of them. I mean, it's certainly, I'm not a get up and make 20 phone calls every morning person.
Right.
Right. But no, I definitely took pieces of information from all kinds of different training in the last 4 years. So.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a woman currently in my group. Well, I've coached a whole bunch of real estate agents. I think you probably figured that out. But right now there's a person in the group, an agent, and which she and I are having a conversation. So Buffini, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Basically, like they're telling you step by step how to market or how to do things, and they're giving you a lot of tactics. Right? They're giving you a lot of tactics. They're giving you, and then within agencies, they're giving you a lot of, this is how you get new clients. They're giving you the tactics. What makes this different? Okay, first of all, are two things. One, we are really digging through how to get the result you want by starting with the thinking piece of it, not the tactics piece. People want to start what I call on the action line. Okay, they want to know, what do I need to do? They want to start on the action line. This approach starts on the thinking line and gets to the action line. Okay, so that's totally different than Buffini. And he's giving you the thinking behind why he has a strategy of how he has it. But this is more like your own thinking. What's going to work for you versus them, right? So maybe making 20 phone calls a day works for them, but it might not work for you. So we go into that piece. And then the other thing that's more fun about this than the in-house programs is that there are people in all industries, which are really your potential clients. So don't you want to get into their brains, like all different kinds of people? And I think having a different community outside of the workplace makes a difference too, for that accountability. So the other thing is, we're not thinking small. We're not just thinking, get the next client, make the next sale. We're thinking big of how does this fall into a bigger picture world. Like you're not just Sue, the real estate person, you're like Sue, the human. So we take that all into account. I like to say life's like a ball of yarn. So your personal life and your professional life, they are very much intertwined, and that all comes into play. So I don't know if that helps you, but it's a different kind of accountability than probably offered in those programs. I don't know, Cindy or Monica, can you speak to either of those things, accountability, or I'll let you say something if you want to, or maybe not. I don't know, but it's a different kind of accountability. Yeah. Polly, any questions?
No questions, just processing.
Okay. What's processing? What's the process? Tell me, since we just talked about a process. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, money's going to be an issue for me personally. I just have a lot of other expenses right now, and trying to think creatively. I am, but
Okay.
I don't know if that timing might not be the best at this particular moment. Well, I just have to process it and think. And
okay, so think about this too. Like, sorry, someone say something. Timing, cost. We can make anything happen that we want to happen, right? So sometimes we tell ourselves, I did this. Like, I'm not sure this is the right time to invest in my coach. Like, I totally had that whole dialogue going. But what I figured out was that the longer I thought that kind of thing, the longer I kind of stayed in that thinking of, I'm not sure I can afford this yet. And actually, this is kind of an interesting story. I don't think I've ever shared this. So I invested, and before the thing even started, which was like a month away, I had made back all of that money and more. But it was only until I turned my brain on to the fact that I was about to go into a different kind of thinking and a different kind of like level that I was able to do that. So before it even started, that's what happened. When we can tell ourselves stories all day long.
oh yeah,
All day long about that kind of thing. Also, the other thing is, it's like, when we think about it's the money, is it the money? Because money is just neutral, right? So I could tell you that an all-inclusive vacation to the Caribbean is $100, and you'd be like, oh my God, that's so cheap. Like, how does this even possible, right? So $100 for the all-inclusive vacation sounds like one thing. $100 for a bag of candy, that's exorbitant. So it's not the $100, so to speak, right? It's what you're attaching to it, which is interesting. An interesting kind of way our brain likes to trick us. The other thing is, like, is it the money, or is it the fear that we can't create the money? Or is it the fear that the money's not in the bank? Or is it the fear that the money's not going to be there? Like, what, if you can dig deeper down into those things, it actually helps you grow in other ways. So if the fear is, I can't create that, well, then let's figure out how. Like, don't you want to do that anyway? So the thing that often holds you back is the exact reason why you need what you're contemplating. So that's a true statement in lots of things. The reason you say no to something is the exact reason you actually need it. I don't know. Anyone have any other thoughts or comments? Right? Anything else? Okay. Well, I am going to do a Facebook Live. I'm doing this again tomorrow, so you're so welcome to come back and listen to it again. Absolutely come back. I'm going to do a Facebook Live on Friday at noon, okay, to answer more questions or to give more information. But again, like, these are all the things that you are getting inside there. You're getting weekly coaching, you're getting the half-day boot camp, you're getting a private one-on-one strategy session. And actually, if you enroll by Monday, you get 2. You get monthly guest coaching, constant 24/7 coaching through our online channel, goal setting. So if the goal is to make the 5K back, that's the goal. We figure it out. Okay. And more beyond, right? And then you've got content that you can access at any time, and you have a community of women. as well. So I find that once someone makes the decision and to invest in themselves, it's like a trickle down effect. They start to, their story of who they are starts to change right then and there. So are they the person that can't afford it, or are they the person that can, and it's going to make it happen? Okay, so it's like your thinking instantaneously changes. Instantaneously changes. Kate, do you have anything to add? I haven't even heard from you. Or Aaron? Feel free to ask in the chat or wherever, but I would, and I guess the other thing is, why not? This is one of my favorite questions to ask myself. Why not give yourself this support? Why not? Like, what are the other expenses? Are they worth more than, aside you need lights and electricity and all the basic things? Yes, but are they worth more than investing in your own brain power? Like, why not? That's one of my things. And the other thing is, what if you do it just because you can? Just because you have you're a human who has choices. That's like last week I had a live DJ, okay, who came on a Zoom for all my clients. Monica's laughing because she was on it, okay, and Cindy was on it too. A live DJ, and we were all in our little boxes. He was in LA and he was like spinning, and we could put in requests. And I did it because it was fun, okay? And why not? Like, why not? If we can't all get together in person, why not do it? And it really gave everybody, I mean, that's where you're bringing joy and celebrating into your life in ways like that. So I just decided, why not? If I can create this kind of fun atmosphere via Zoom with a DJ, why not? Right? I don't know. Monica, you have anything to say about that?
I thought it was a great way for us to connect and get to know each other in a different light. I hope that we get to do that again.
We're doing it again on April. I already know when it is. April 20 something.
Okay.
I will let you know. We are doing it again. Yeah. Cindy, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, it was really fun. And it was one of those things that was kind of like, oh, what's this going to be like? But it was fun.
Yeah. So it's fun. That's the fun stuff. And I mean, we're doing that also along with talking about the serious things, right? We're talking about a lot of serious stuff. But I think actually one of the things both Cindy and Monica, like their brains, I mean, I'm speaking for them, but like we've gone from thinking small to thinking bigger. That's one of the things both of you have been really working on and creating more, right? And actually having some accountability, a lot of accountability in what you're doing. So, Sue, any more questions? Buffini, I love Buffini. I hear all about Buffini, Mr. Buffini, whoever he is.
Well, he's certainly not my cup of tea. Certainly not the way I want to run my business, but I found him very enjoyable. He's a good presenter. I will give him that.
He is, right?
Yeah. I basically got into the class because I signed up when the company put the complete wrong price on. And I thought, well, if it's only going to be that much, I'll take it. And then the very next day they were like, oh, that's not the price at all we meant. But for those who jumped on it, we'll honor that. So that's really the only reason I took it in the first place. But anyway.
You got a deal. That was good. Yeah. So in any industry, whatever you're in, there's always accountability. Like, okay, I know, Paul, you have multiple businesses, but I know in like a multi-level marketing situation, like they've got lots of accountability pieces in there if you want to use them.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. If you want to use them, real estate, if you want to use them. So, and some resonate and some don't. But the thing that I always found, because I've been in multiple multi-level marketing businesses too, is that there's some sort of like distance between like, oh, that's them. They think that's a great idea, but I'm not sure that was going to work for me. Okay. Real estate too. That's a great idea, but I'm not sure it's going to work for me. So what makes this different is that we figure out what works for you. What works for you? Just because it works for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And they're not guiding you through that thinking of figuring out what works for you. So that's a different thing. Sue, I did a podcast with a realtor. I don't know if you listened into that, but there's a podcast out there with Sandy Ginn, and she's a real estate agent. That might give you some perspective. I just thought of that, but that was something that because she would say, oh, Century 21 is offering like 50 million classes and they're telling me I should do this, but I'm not sure that's really for me. So that's what we figured a lot of that out. So Lisa, I don't know who Lisa is down there. I don't think I do, but Lisa, if you have any questions, let me know. But I would love to have you all. If you want to talk further, if you want to do a consult call, happy to do that. Email me or go on my website. If you want to come back on tomorrow and listen again, that's totally fine too, because always you can get more. And Friday, Facebook Live at 12 inside my private Facebook group. So if you're not in there, message me and I'll give you the link. But that's where I'm going to answer some more questions and do some more coaching. Sound good? All right. So if you are wanting any more of these 6 things, this is what we're going for. This is what we're going for. And I will say, actually, I just got some feedback from one participant, and their biggest aha was that they have started that opportunity box, which is in my bottom left-hand corner. They have really started to look at things differently. They have been doing what they have been doing for a very long time. And this has given them just this new perspective that they kind of thought like they hadn't even gone to that place. So Polly, you could kill it in that business. You could be $1 million Ellie.
I could be.
You could be $1 million Ellie. You got to just put your $1 million Ellie hat on, and then you.
I know.
It's so true. That because she's in an MLM.
Yeah, the company's gone through a lot of changes, and I'm just trying to figure out me, I guess.
Figure out you staying or going, or
no, I'm staying. No,
no.
I'm staying. That's not
okay.
even an issue.
Okay.
It's just I don't know how to market it. They've launched, instead of one thing, it's 6 things, and so it's just a lot.
It's a lot. But, and I know, because I've been in there, I know what you're talking about. There are 6 things. So, but guess what? So Ellie has like 100 things. Okay. So we really had to, and she also could grow a team. That was another option. So we really had to start to kind of put I think she calls them healthy blinders on, which, those horse blinders. So we had to put healthy blinders on and decide what was the best things for her to focus in on versus everything.
Right.
Once
No,
she
I don't need to do everything.
Right. But sometimes like you're being told, well, you could do that. I mean, you could do this, you could do that. You could do, even in real estate, you could just be a buyer's agent. You could be a seller's agent. You could narrow down which, you're only dealing with houses under 400, or you're only dealing with first time buyers. Like you could do all these things in any business. Cindy in this thing. Her business is different than all of yours. She could be focusing in on 100 things too, but we've sort of narrowed it down. So if you put those healthy blinders on, you start to think differently and you start to get traction. So that's something that's also hard to do on your own, because you're stuck in the peanut butter jar with this is like chunky peanut butter, because you've got all these peanuts in there. Or even there's chocolate chips mixed in. Like, what do you go for? What are you attached to? What are you attached to? What are you attached to? Like, I think I was coaching someone the other day. I can't even remember who it was. And I said, what in your life are you going to attach? So she talked about how, I forget even what her goal was. Whatever her goal was, I said, you need to attach it to something that's already existing and that you feel good about. And once you attach it to something, like I'm just going to say, let's pretend you decided you wanted to journal every day. Okay. Some people like to do that. Some people don't. What are you going to attach that to? Is it drinking your coffee? I mean, that's a very simplified explanation, but Ellie had to kind of attach to things that she already did really were easy for her. And then we grew. So real estate agent person, not the one, I was thinking of a different one. We attached to her kids. Okay. And she really focused in only on families with like kids that were middle school, high school. Like, and of course she has clients and all that are all different kinds, but that's what she attached to. Yes, Monica.
So I have a question about this attachment thing.
Yeah.
If I want to write a blog post, what do I attach that to? Sometimes I have issues churning that out. It's like a drag for me, even though I like to write. I'm a big
Right.
journal.
Okay. Do you think, why is it a drag?
Because
What's your thought that makes it feel like a drag?
It takes a while. It takes time. And I
Okay.
gotta get it in my head that it's going to take this big block of time for me. I guess some people can churn them out like that, but I know it's going to be a big block of time, and that
Okay, so two things I'm thinking. Number one, is it a fact that it has to take a big block of time?
No, that's not a fact.
Okay, that's number one. Okay, so that's not a fact. That's just your story. Somebody said you're telling yourself stories about money. Monica's just telling herself a story that it's going to take a big block of time. Number two, what is big? Is big 10 minutes? Is it big 10 hours? What's big?
Oh, you want me to define it?
Yeah, what do you think?
It's 5 hours. Like it's a day. It's a whole afternoon.
Okay. So, all right. So big block of time. So a couple things. First of all, do you want it to take 5 hours?
No, that's the whole, that's no.
Okay. Okay. So how long do you want it to take?
Half that time. Let's just start there.
All right. Let's say 2 hours just to keep it even. Okay. So 2 hours. So first of all, because you're going to meet resistance, no matter when you do this, whether it takes you 2 hours or 5 hours, you're going to meet your friend. I call it your friend resistance. Like, oh my God, this is not going to be fun. This is going to take energy. If you had to think ahead, are you more likely to succumb to the I should, I would, I'm not doing it path in the morning or the afternoon? When are you at your best, morning or afternoon?
Well, the blog posts that I have written to date have all been written in the afternoon, but
Okay.
Yeah, so afternoon's probably my better day because my mornings are dedicated to other things.
Okay, so afternoon. So when, like, you have to decide that you're going to decide to do it. You're stuck in decision drama.
That was one of my takeaways from our call this morning. So you have to decide if you're going to decide.
Yeah. So I will say to you, like in my world, this podcast stuff, okay, I love doing it in a way. Okay, but it's a lot of work because I have to think about the topic. I have to plan what I'm going to say. I have to figure out when is this actually airing because I'm ahead, right? So I just have already decided, and it's so far so good, that I'm recording a podcast every Monday. And if I am doing one with a guest, that's on Wednesday. It's just what it is. So I've attached the podcast thing to Mondays because I know I will have the least resistance on Mondays. If I waited till Friday, I'd be like, forget this. Okay. So think about this. So you have to start with how you feel. You have to start with everything how you feel. So you felt like this was big. Okay. Start there. Okay. Which I know isn't your favorite place to start, but start there at the feeling line. Okay. Then go to get up, be like beyond to yourself. Well, what am I thinking that's creating this feeling? I'm thinking that this is going to take forever. Okay. Ask yourself, is that a thought or is that a fact? Okay. Clarify, because you're telling yourself it's like a fact. Well, of course it's going to take 5 hours. Nope. That's your thought. Okay. And then, so that's one thing to try to piece it, to narrow it down. Then in your particular case, okay, you're resisting. When am I going to have the least resistance? Be onto yourself. Okay. I'm going to have least resistance in afternoons. Maybe you're going to attach it to Wednesdays because we do our coaching calls on Wednesdays. So Wednesday afternoon, that's what you do after the call. You write the blog every Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by attaching. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. But anything, like, even if you're thinking, like Sue's like, I'm not sure if this is going to be different. So she's thinking, there's a little doubt in there or question. Okay. Why is she having that feeling? Is she, because she didn't like the accountability piece of it that was offered in those other programs? Was it enough? It wasn't enough, whatever, right? So what's her thought that's creating the doubt? And ask yourself, can I answer those questions?
I'll be real honest that what really creates the doubt is that it's on a regular Thursday at noon type of schedule, and things that I've tried in the past that just doesn't work for me. So
okay, fair enough.
I mean, I really have tried. I had a group of people from different careers that would meet every Wednesday at noon type of thing. And, oh, it's great. You can network. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it doesn't work.
Why do you think it doesn't work?
Because in this market, and I deal with a lot of young first-time buyers, I'm very much on call.
Okay, that's what I thought you would say.
I'm at a point in my life where I don't mind being on call. I don't have kids at home anymore. So
okay, so three things. Okay, let me say 3 things. From a very practical standpoint, I record everything. Okay, so you always can listen later. That's a very practical standpoint, and you always can get any coaching you need in our private online channel. From a sort of tactical standpoint, I have a realtor in this group right now. Sometimes she's doing our calls from her car, and that's okay. She still gets everything she needs from it. Okay. And you have to kind of go into it with already deciding that you're going to get everything you need from it. Okay. Like, you have to already, like, I knew when I invested in my coach, I was going to get everything I needed from it. And I had to kind of be in that belief. Okay. The other thing is, it doesn't work because you're on call. You are on call. Yeah, you could be showing a house at that time, but either is that a problem? Are we going to make it a problem? Like, I will say, this coach that I'm working with now does a call on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. Okay. I cannot be on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. And she also does another one at a different time during the week, but half of what she's offering, I cannot be on because of this other previous obligation. I decided that it wasn't a problem, and it hasn't been. So I just watch it later, or I get to go to half of it. It's like, it's only a problem if we make it a problem. I don't know. What do you think, like, to Cindy and Monica, to the regularity of it all? Like, does that?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's, I've sort of just cleared the deck, and I've just made this a priority, so it's on my calendar, and things just aren't scheduled during this time. And that's because this is what I want to be focusing on. Right.
And I know Erin, what Erin does is Erin, the realtor, will drive to wherever she's meeting her client. And then, as soon as this is over, she hops out of her car and meets her client. So it's like, it's all, if we make it a problem, it's a problem. That's it. That's all. That's it. I don't know if that's the reason not to do it, because honestly, if you're thinking about accountability, are you being accountable to yourself to be investing and spending time growing yourself? Like that, again, is that an example of the problem is really the reason you should do it?
That's what I was getting ready to say, is that this is a commitment to yourself. I'm like Cindy, where you just clear the calendar at that time because this is your commitment to yourself. And it's not just professionally. There's a huge amount of value in this program personally.
Right. Right. So I don't know where Sue went, but that's it. Lisa, who's still on here, do you have any questions, even if you need to type them? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Lisa. Okay, it's 1:30. Come back tomorrow. Message me, call me, see me on Friday. You've got options. If you do want to get those extra bonuses, don't get stuck in decision drama or analysis paralysis. Just enroll by Monday. And I've enjoyed this. I hope you have too.
Thanks, Andrea.
All right, my friends, you're welcome. Thanks, Erin. Bye.